I do want to bring in Allegra Spender now, who's been waiting for us off the back of last week's budget. We'll get back to the Prime Minister in a moment. Allegra Spender, when you look at the budget now, about a week on, do you think the balance was achieved? It's a difficult one with inflation as high as it is, and then you've got people like Cass Goldie at ACOS saying more needs to be done for people living in poverty. What's your sense?
Look, I think overall it was a sensible budget and struck a reasonable balance. But what I think we have missed is something that's affecting really, all of us, is actually the opportunity for reform and on some really important issues such as housing, tax and productivity, because those are the things that will affect all of us if we don't deal with them. And this budget just didn't go far enough on those issues.
One of the big ones I know you're talking about is the petroleum resource rent tax. You think it should have been much more ambitious, but as someone who watches the economy closely yourself and tax issues, I know is a big focus of yours. You do need to get the balance right, don't you, between getting more revenue, but you've still got to ensure appropriate investment, because gas is going to be an ongoing important transition fuel for this country, isn't it?
Look, I think that getting that balance between sort of raising tax and investment but also encouraging investment is absolutely critical. And what I would love to see the government do is actually engage in a proper review on resource taxation more broadly, because we're going to come into these critical minerals of lithium and others are going to be a really important part of our economy in the future. And I want to make sure that when the prices are high, that the Australian taxpayer gets the benefit from this. So, while I'm glad the government started to look at PERT, the offshore oil and gas tax, I don't think it went far enough. And I think if it keeps on making incremental changes, then it's going to lose confidence of the business community, rather than making a bigger change, but which is broadly consulted and can really stick for, many, many years. So that's what I'd love to see the government doing. And it's not just on issues of, resource taxes, it's things like housing as well as another big issue, where I feel that bigger reform is and was missing in the budget, and is something that really I think the whole community is crying out for right now.
The opposition leader came up with an idea to allow job seekers to work more before they lose their benefits, those on the job seeker payment. Is there merit to that?
Look, I'm open to that as an idea, but looking at the detail of why are people long-term unemployed, I don't believe this is a miracle silver bullet that's going to fix everything. I think that it was appropriate for the government to raise job seeker, because people have been on those unemployment benefits in some cases for a long time, and that is very difficult to live day to day at that level. But we absolutely have to work out how to help these people get a job, and while ensuring that job seeker doesn't go away as quickly when people get a job, there are lots of other reasons why people aren't able to get a job or really struggle to get a job, and that's where the unemployment services really have to do better. Some of those reasons are they're in the wrong place. They don't have the right support, they don't have the right skills. What Peter Dunn's suggesting isn't going to address those sorts of problems, and so you've got lots of different people facing different issues in terms of getting a job, and I think you need different policies to deal with each of them, while trying to let them have, I think, a dignified life while they are still searching and getting ready to have a job.
Just finally, on another issue, the Voice to Parliament Committee, it's held its hearings. It's not going to change the recommendation for the language. Is that a missed opportunity to try and get as many people on board as possible for the Voice?
Look, I support the Voice, and I think that the current wording, is appropriate, and I think Australians can get behind that. There were some, I think, good arguments presented all ways to say, could we have changed the wording somewhat? But I feel that where we've landed is wording that I think the Australian community can support, because it's about giving recognition. It's about ensuring that people have a voice on the things that affect them, but there are also those controls so that Parliament has the ultimate veto power and that ultimate control. And I think that's a really important balance.
Member for Wentworth, Allegra Spender, thanks.